What's up, everybody? I wanted to make a video for ZF doing it at 40 with a mage. I've seen a lot of people kind of struggle with this at 40, especially. Um, I don't think it's that bad, so I wanted to kind of put together some tips about how to go about doing it. So I'm going to cover the run-in. The first half of the run-in can kind of be split into a few different routes. They're kind of shown in order of preference. So the first one's probably the best, and the third one's probably the worst, in my opinion. After that, just kind of the second half of the run-in is pretty simple. And then I'll give some tips about how to actually go about opening the graves and getting a kill at 40 with all the resists that you're going to encounter. It's not that bad, but there's some tricky things to kind of look out for. So without further ado, let's get into it. So going over the gear here, just ignore the level. I'm 54 here, but all the gear is what I used at level 40. It's nothing but eagle and owl gear. You can use a mixture. You can have an eagle set for your run and an owl set for your kill, but it's not necessary. I just kind of have a mixture of stamina, int, and spirit, and you'll be fine. The talent build's pretty standard. It's just like your normal AoE farming build. When you start at 40, you won't have any of these arcane talents, but you'll just move down through them, get your clear casting, get your extra armor and stuff like that as you level up after 40. This first run-in is probably the best run-in, especially at 40. You only have to reset once, and you probably take the least amount of damage. So you're just going to do a big S around these guys, aggroing as little as you can. You always want to be jump turning just to make sure that you don't get dazed and knocked off your mount. Here you're going to take a pretty hard left. You're going to go up and around this wall to the left, and it's really important that you don't land on top of that wall or else you'll get dismounted. Do a little turn around that croc, and then you're just kind of hug the wall, keep as much distance as you can, come around here. You're going to go into the boxes on the left. I got dismounted a little early, but you can kind of blink away to get some space, then you get behind these boxes. Now it's important to stay behind this right box, because if you're behind the left box, you'll be line of sight to some patrolling mobs that can come across. If you can't really tell from this angle. There you can see there's a gap in the boxes, so you want to make sure that you're behind this wall, because if you're behind the other one, you still have line of sight to the other patrolling mobs that are coming across. So it's also worth noting that if you're not a gnome, you'll need to sit right here. Otherwise, your head will poke up over the box, and any of the mobs around will see you. So you'll make sure you've got your sit bound to some key, and you can do it. It should be kind of X by default, I think. This next run-in is probably the second best. You're going to make use of the right wall in the first room. So the start is going to be pretty similar. You're just going to get your shields up, get on your mount, do your big S's around these first 3 packs, and then okay, here we go. You always want to sort of like avoid, you can pretty much avoid aggro in that first pack if you want. Yeah, just do your jump turns. Everything's the same as the first run-in at this point. The only difference here is you're still going to go a little left to avoid these packs on the right. Then you're going to kind of take a right turn here, go up on the hill, and you want to jump over the left side of this little pillar. The right side, you won't clear it, so you want to jump over that left side. It'll dismount you. Now you're in a reset spot. Once combat drops, you can heal back up, get your shields up, and then this little lantern that's right near where I'm standing, you can jump onto that while you're not mounted, and then you'll be able to mount up there, and then you can continue to the second reset spot, which is the same reset spot as the first run. So here you go, jump down. Be careful not to fall on the ground, or else you might die at 40 here if you fall on the ground and you're not mounted. So just run through that pack, try and turn if you can, and then do the same thing here to get behind these boxes. Again, make sure you're behind this right box, not the left boxes. This third run is my least favorite, but it's kind of like the oldest meta, so some people might be more comfortable with this. Again, same start here. Get through the first hallway. Now, instead of going left or right, you're kind of going to go straight. And then you're going to go behind these boxes that you see here. But you have to go past this little overhanging fountain that you can see. I'll try and tear my camera. So this little fountain here, you can't actually run directly between the boxes in this fountain. You kind of have to go out and around to make sure you can clear it. It's just kind of what it is. I don't really remember that from 2019 Classic, but it is there now. It could have been there. I just don't remember. I don't use this path very often, but if this is what you're used to, you can use this. Once your combat drops, you'll come out, mount up, and then go and reset at the second boxes, just like the first two runs. Caught some aggro from a patrol there. Let them get by so we don't get aggro again. So you're going to basically run straight at this pack, kind of like you did in the left pack. I like to go for a Nova here, just to kind of get them off of you. You're going to take a lot of damage from them. And now you're just going to kind of do what you did before. This is probably the most dangerous route, but it is the oldest route, so if you're used to it, you can use it. But the first route is the best. The second route is okay. This is definitely the worst. So I'm going to intentionally aggro this patrolling mob here, just so you can kind of get an example of why you want to be behind that right box. So if you're poking out and you're behind the left box, you will kind of, it will keep you in combat and just kind of waste your time. So just make sure to stay behind that right box, get rid of your totems, and you're fine. After this, we've got one more run to go to get to the graveyard, and it's fairly simple. There's really only one way to do it, so I won't be breaking it up like I did the first half. Now that aggro's dropped, come out, just peek out, get on your mount. You're going to kind of run straight at these two mobs on the left, because you'd rather get aggro from these two singles than the big pack on the big pack of 3 on the left. You can see I kind of got clipped on that edge there, but it's okay. Come over this hill, jump on top of this pot. Keep moving. If you get dismounted at any point here, you just want to kind of keep moving on the ground. With your Novas and reapplying shields, you can make this run without your mount, but it's better to stay mounted if you can, so keep jump turning. Try and keep an eye out for the boss here. If he's right where you are, just run straight through him, but if you can, just run around and avoid him. He patrols in a clockwise motion around that room. Or sorry, a counterclockwise. So from here, you're going to go and reset. This spot is very tricky. If you've never done this, that little jump I did right there, it doesn't look like much, but there are some tricks here that you're going to want to discuss. So I've already reset it, but I'm going to show you kind of, there's two patrols that come into this room you want to be careful of, but one from each of the hallways. This purple one doesn't come in too far, but as you can see here, actually, I'll talk about that after. If you go straight into this corner and try to jump, you'll get stuck, especially if you're a gnome. You can avoid this by staying away from the wall and jumping up. You can kind of, on your way in, run in without stopping and jump up, but it's very tricky with a gnome hitbox. So I find the most repeatable thing to do is to walk straight into the corner, take one step back with S, jump straight up, and then strafe with Q to get over up onto the ledge. So you run straight in, backstep once, jump, and then strafe over. Run straight in, backstep once, and strafe over. It's not that important when you're first running into the graveyard, but when you're opening the graves, it's very important. So we're going to let these guys clear, and then we're going to show you. There's sort of 3 sets of graves you're going to want to open. We're going to start by doing, you aggro the boss just so that the zombies will run towards him, and then you'll start opening this first line here. So you're going to want to just spam click on these graves as you're kind of running past. I like a top-down view. It just makes it a little easier in my opinion. You can throw a Nova here if they're getting close to you, and then you're going to want to get behind this box. Once you're behind it, you'll be fine. If there was a caster mob that was patrolling, you'll want to make sure that they're not in line of sight of you when you do this. Or if they're too close to you, they could still be hitting you. That's why I like to Nova on the way in sometimes. But if they are too close to you, you can run out, drag them with you, Nova, and then go back behind the boxes. Or back behind the jar, rather. Once your aggro's dropped, you're going to start this second line. I've got some mobs on me kind of early. That's just kind of the nature of trying to do this at 40. They aggro from so far away, but I threw out a Nova there. I like to save 2 Novas for right here. I like to Nova once right now, and then Cold Snap, and then do another Nova, but if you know what you're doing, you can kind of do it with one. You can see I used my Blink to kind of just create some space there, but if you're not double Novaing on the way in here, those mobs are going to be on your ass, and you've really only got one shot at jumping up on this little ledge. So if you don't do it properly the first time, you're just gonna get eaten up. So it's good to do that practice for that jump before you do it. Now this third one is very easy. You just kind of you're not going to be on you by the time you get to that corner. So you might have a couple shots of this jump, but you still want to be careful. So you run in, backstep once, jump over. From here, you can just kind of sit on that ledge until they reset, and then jump up over that little statue, like I did. You can mount up and jump up in the corner for the start of the kill spot, but if you're a gnome, it's very hard without a mount to jump up there. So you can just kind of, while they're resetting, run up on this mountain like I'm doing, and get to the start of the kill spot. So you want to make sure you've got your mage armor, your ice barrier. You probably don't want to use your mana shield here. Make sure you've got your full health and mana. We're going to aggro everything with like rank 1 blizzards here. So the first thing I like to do is aggro the boss with a wand cast, and then from there you want to aggro the zombies and the... it looks like I'm not using a wand. I did use a wand. Sometimes you can use a rank 1 blizzard there just to make sure you get the stuff in the door so you don't have to try and hit it later. You can hit the boss and the mobs in the door all with one rank 1 blizzard, so I do prefer doing that. You want to just kind of sidestep, jump over this ledge. Try not to go too far or you'll fall down the gap on the right. And then from here, you just kind of want to pick up whatever's not running for you. Some of these mobs don't get aggroed, like these ones on the far left, so hit them with a rank 1 blizzard. And then you want to get on this side as fast as possible, because they won't start following you if you're on this side. You'll see that they pause. Maybe my camera's not showing it properly, but some mobs won't chase you when you're on the ledge right there, so you want to make sure you're on this end cap to get them all clumped up. The boss will just reset and run away, as well as the little skeletons that are spawning from his totem. But once everything's all clumped up, you're ready to start the kill, and you want to, when you're level 40, you pretty much want to use rank 1 blizzards only. Mobs are going to be running through this just chain resisting, so you're not going to be able to get a good clump, or most of the time you're not even going to get one full blizzard off, so the amount of mana you'll waste using rank, like max rank, is quite a lot. So from here, you want to put the blizzard just on the side of the mountain where it's going to clip them in that turn. And you only want to do one for each time, and only when they're moving in that direction. Once you're a higher level, you can kind of pump blizzards much more, but when you're at 40, it's better to just use rank 1s. It takes a while, but it's much more efficient and much more repeatable. It's pretty boring from here. It takes quite a long time with rank 1, but you're still going to be getting, half a level per kill. So it's well worth it at 40. Now the positioning of that blizzard is pretty important. You want it to be not right against the wall where the mountain touches it, but you want it to be like maybe a yard off. There. It looks like I got a little bold and I put some max ranks in. You don't have to do that if you're using mana potions and gems, and you can kind of do that at 40. if you know what you're doing and you know how to manage it properly. But if you are unsure, you can just send rank ones the entire time. The only thing that's going to happen is mobs are going to die at kind of random times and slowly. So what might happen when you're at 40 is that mobs will be dead for so long by the time you finish your kill that their corpses have respawned or despawned, and you'll lose out on loot, which isn't really a big deal. You're talking about 2 runs to get 41 if you're not rested, and another 2 runs roughly to get to 42. By the time you're 41, 42, everything's going to be getting hit by these blizzard with much more frequency. Like, you're not going to be getting resisted as much. Your kill is going to happen a lot quicker, and you won't have any loot problems. The amount of loot you're going to lose if corpses despawn at 40 is it's not that many. It's like a run or 2 worth of loot. You might lose a few corpses on them, but you're going to be doing. I don't remember exactly how many you do as you're leveling here to 54, but somewhere in the range of probably 50 plus runs. So it's really no big deal if you lose a couple corpses of loot early on. Same shit over and over here until they get low. Here I'm showing you that it's not really a big deal if you fail the jump. I mean, depending on where they're positioned. If you're using the kill spot I'm using, they'll always be kind of far away. So even if you fall, just make sure you run up and around the hill and you'll be fine. I think I intentionally did that, but I can't remember. Just kind of keep doing what you're doing until they're close to dead. As you can see now, mobs are starting to die. The corpses are in kind of a weird place as well, so even if I do kill them in good time, the position of those corpses will kind of prevent you from looting them. Right where they are right now, if they die right there, there's no real way to path onto that mountain and to be able to loot them, so it can, you'll lose loot that way as well. I'm not sure why I've decided to do the spot there, but once you're a little higher level, you can do the kill spot either on the left or on this big long straight line that I'm currently standing on. You can do the kill there and you'll loot all the mobs, no problem. I think I just wanted this run over and get my experience and get out. I don't really care about the loot. It's pointless at 40. These dead heroes are level 46. So usually they're the first ones to die in the run, but when you're because they're not elite, so they'll die quickly, but when you're 40, they almost never get hit by your blizzard, so they tend to live the longest. But right now where you're seeing that blizzard go down is where you probably want to kill them. It's the most consistent spot. You can kind of hit them back and forth if you want. You can stand there, no problem. And you can get the loot, no problem as well. I should talk about if some of those patrolling mobs that come through this room end up in your kill. Depending on the type of mob, you'll be fine. The only mob that you really need to manage are the shadow hunters, because they won't move at all. They'll just stand still and shoot you with their bow. So you kind of want to sheep them in some position where you're not going to be hitting them with a blizzard and breaking the sheep, and then you just kind of have to, spend a mana and a resource re-sheeping them throughout the run. It can be a little bit stressful, especially early on if you've never done it, but once you've done it once or twice, it's no big deal. If any other mob gets in, like the soul eaters are fine. They'll just run with the mobs. You'll kill them. The witch doctors can be a little bit annoying. Their healing totems that they drop will cause them to split away from the group just because they stop to cast so much, or if they cast to heal themselves. So they'll be kind of split and not in the pack, which can be a little bit annoying. And their totems will also heal the dead heroes. They won't heal the zombies, which is the majority of your experience, but they will heal the dead heroes. So if they get in the kill, they'll heal themselves and the dead heroes. What I like to do is just ignore them, just let them kind of exist. I won't sheep them, and then at the end of the run, when there's only the witch doctor left and the dead hero, you can just go and reset on the same reset spot that you used to kind of come into the room. I'm not sure why I decided to jump down and arcane explosion these, but don't do that. You'll take a lot of damage, especially at 40. They'll crit you a lot, so just kill them normally. Don't be stupid. But as you can see here, there's a ton of loot I'm going to lose, but we'll get most of it, and we'll get out of here with a ton of experience. So you can see the time there of 20 minutes is pretty high. I did the long run in for this run. I might have done some other recording while I was in here and some explanation. So that time is pretty high, even at 40. You can probably do it in about 15, 16 minutes with rank 1. But you saw the experience that popped up, so you can see how worth it this is. You can see me trying to salvage some of this loot. You can get some of it. If you mount up, you can kind of jump over a little bit and get a few more of these corpses, but don't waste your time. Just don't kill here once you're 42 and above. Just kill down lower, kind of where the majority of the corpses are, and you'll be fine. You can see I kind of clipped there so I can get a few more corpses, but it's not a big deal if you don't loot these. You're talking about a gold or two. When you do reset out of here, Depending on how you do it, if you use a friend who kind of does a normal dungeon reset trick, or if you have a second account like I do, it's going to send you to the graveyard in Tanaris now, or it's out of Gadgetzan. It's a little bit annoying, but what it does let you do is empty your bags right away, so that's nice. You can empty your bags every run. You don't have to worry about deleting any loot. You can just kind of vendor everything and kind of keep going, so that's it. Happy killing.